The founding myth of California is often celebrated as the ultimate expression of American ambition, a sudden, explosive acquisition of wealth triggered by the discovery of gold at Sutter's Mill in 1848. The gold rush was not merely an economic boom, it was a societal supernova, drawing hundreds of thousands into a relentless, often brutal frenzy of greed and destiny. San Francisco, a nascent port, metastasized in mere months into a sprawling, frantic metropolis, founded on the raw, unquestioned promise of quick, massive wealth. Yet beneath the glittering, historically sanitized veneer of this instant fortune lies a terrifying, suppressed truth. The gold rush was not an accident of geology, but a deliberate, mystical extraction ritual. And the cataclysmic 1906 San Francisco earthquake was the inevitable, violent, and precisely calibrated debt collection mechanism. My name is Dr. Elias Vance. My highly specialized research explores the dark history where geopolitical ambition intersects with ritual infrastructure and deep tectonic instability. My investigation began with the meticulous, often heavily censored archives concerning the Pioneer Compact, a highly clandestine operational agreement established in the shadows between influential early American settlers, powerful political figures, and, crucially, a select inner circle of shamans and elders from indigenous Californian tribes immediately after the gold was discovered. This compact, hidden beneath decades of official legal records, outlined not simple land ownership, but a chilling spiritual and energetic transaction. The native communities had long understood the true nature of the gold. It was not viewed as currency, but as chthonic energy, a hyper-concentrated geological reservoir of the planet's internal power, absolutely vital for maintaining the region's subtle seismic and spiritual equilibrium. Their traditional stewardship involved highly disciplined, ritualistic harvesting, taking only minute, sustainable quantities to prevent massive planetary imbalance and the violent geological backlash it would provoke. The massive, unchecked influx of American miners shattered this ancient equilibrium in less than a year. The gold rush became the ultimate, devastating sacrament of excess. The relentless, maniacal, industrial-scale extraction of the gold, the literal geological heart of the land, was in spiritual and energetic terms the negotiation of a massive, unpayable loan taken directly from the Earth's core. This immense energy was violently stripped from the Sierra Nevada bedrock and rapidly monetized, creating an overwhelming, dangerously unstable surplus of human ambition, greed, and structural growth that the Earth's tectonic plate system rejected as a foreign body. The most critical evidence supporting my theory is the translated journal of Silas Kincaid, a brilliant but increasingly unstable geologist, architect, and mystic secretly contracted by the Compact. Kincaid detailed the creation of the golden transference matrix. To accelerate the gold flow and centralize its power, the Compact employed a dangerous syncretic blend of suppressed Masonic initiation rites, Rosicrucian geometry, and powerful Native American earth-binding rituals to establish a permanent psychic conduit. This conduit directly linked the chaotic, strip-mined goldfields, the source of the debt, to the burgeoning financial and political hub, San Francisco. The city was not randomly built. It was intentionally developed as an energy capacitor, a massive, volatile battery designed to hoard, charge, and accumulate the raw, financialized power flowing from the mountains. Kincaid concluded, tragically, that the city's entire infrastructure was designed not just for commerce, but for spiritual hyper-accumulation and eventual self-destruction. Kincaid's final, most terrifying entry from 1851 reads, "We did not discover gold. we violently activated a planetary balance mechanism that operates outside human law. The Earth tolerates no debt that exceeds its own capacity for regeneration. When the city, the great capacitor, reaches its zenith of accumulation, the balance mechanism will activate. The land will demand a payment of chaos and structural ruin precisely equal in scale to the accumulated wealth and energy extracted. The final countdown to disaster had begun the moment the compact was sealed. Part 2. The debt accumulates and the geometry of greed. For 50 long years, Kincaid's urgent warning was systematically suppressed, his writings dismissed as the paranoid ravings of a failed intellectual. San Francisco swelled into an architectural marvel, but its growth was dangerously fueled by the unstable, borrowed chthonic energy. The city became a locus of manic, addictive energy, a perpetual motion machine of unchecked human ambition. The geometric anomaly and the financial district grid is the smoking gun. The city's planners, the architects of the compact's financial control, did not use the grid layout for efficiency alone. The specific, non-orthogonal, highly channeled layout of the financial district, particularly the street angles and the positioning of key banking houses, was designed to function as an energy focus array. The city's dramatic topography, the steep, commanding hills, the layout of the cable car lines, and the specific orientation of the initial stone and brick financial buildings were intentionally chosen to actively channel the borrowed chthonic energy flowing from the conduit, trapping and stabilizing it beneath the city's core foundation. The city's enormous accumulated wealth manifested in extreme visible opulence, but its energetic debt expressed itself in constant, acute social instability. The chronic cycles of boom and bust, the extreme and pervasive crime rates, the Barbary Coast phenomenon, the political corruption, and the aggressive lawlessness were not simple sociological failures. They were direct, violent, energetic symptoms. The city was a spiritual pressure cooker, vibrating with an overwhelming excess of borrowed power that the physical land was actively rejecting. As the city approached its energetic peak, the total accumulation threshold described by Kincaid, the debt collector became more aggressively vocal in its warnings. My declassified research, sourced from the late 19th century geological surveys, confirmed suppressed reports of inexplicable, highly rhythmic infrasound pulses, a deep, subsonic beat emanating directly from the deep bedrock along the entire San Andreas Fault. This was proven not to be standard tectonic movement. It was an undeniable acoustic warning and timing system. These pulses correlated precisely with massive spikes in financial activity, record real estate valuations, unprecedented gold transfer volumes, and were described by the field teams as a deep, resounding gong of judgment, the sound of the balance mechanism winding up its final, devastating collection phase. The final, fatal energetic trigger was not a minor market crash, but a powerful act of symbolic hubris, the near completion of the Fairmont Hotel on Nob Hill in early 1906. This structure was the ultimate monolithic symbol of accumulated unearned wealth, built directly at the highest apex of the city's energy focus array. Its sheer scale and arrogant dominance over the financial district below represented the final mathematical energetic peak, the precise moment when the city's massive spiritual debt became mathematically and energetically due. The Earth, the eternal creditor, operating on an immutable spiritual ledger, calculated that the debt was now unpayable in any material form. It required a payment of equal kinetic energy and structural chaos, a massive cleansing discharge of destruction. The debt collector's frequency locked on to the city's built-up energy,
awaiting the precise moment of harmonic resonance. At the precise fated hour of 5:12 a.m. on April 18, 1906, the debt collector fully activated its mechanism. The event that followed was not a simple bilateral tectonic slip. It was a terrifying, targeted geological frequency cascade. The rhythmic infrasound pulses from the San Andreas Fault, the gong of judgment, reached their critical, destructive harmonic frequency. This frequency instantaneously and acoustically destabilized the energy capacitor, the foundation beneath the city, causing the immense built-up borrowed energy to violently feed back into the fault line, triggering a massive hyper-targeted seismic displacement, the Great Earthquake. The resulting physical devastation was surgically precise and intentional. The earthquake's main force focused disproportionately on the financial district, the industrial shipping areas, and the opulent mansions, the direct accumulation and transfer nodes of the golden transference matrix. While residential areas were damaged, the very heart of the accumulated debt, the banks, the stock exchange, and the records of wealth were instantly liquefied, structurally collapsed, and strategically consumed by the subsequent necessary firestorm. The massive conflagration, which raged uncontrollably for days, was not merely an accident from broken gas lines. It was the crucial required ritual cleansing demanded by the balance mechanism. The fire strategically targeted paper records, stock certificates, corporate ledgers, banknotes, and deeds, the very physical manifestation of the unpayable fictional debt. The fire ensured that the material evidence of the city's excess and the proof of its energetic loan were permanently and violently vaporized. The debt collector was not interested in human morality. It was ruthlessly interested in zeroing the ledger by destroying the evidence of the debt itself. The most profound evidence for this temporal spiritual mechanism lies in the profound temporal echoes reported at the time. Witnesses from the time, first responders, doctors, and journalists, reported inexplicable, terrifying mirages during the height of the fire. They saw impossible visions, fleeting, transparent images of manic, mud-covered miners from the 1850s running through the burning, collapsing streets of 1906, their eyes wide open with avarice, pushing wheelbarrows piled high with gold nuggets. These were not traditional hauntings. These were devastating chronal artifacts, brief, uncontrolled bursts of the cause, the manic extraction, playing out simultaneously and superimposed upon the effect, the catastrophic debt payment. The Earth's energetic system was briefly overloaded, fusing the moments of debt creation and debt collection into a singular, horrifying, fused reality. The geologic intelligence demanded that the only way to zero a spiritual ledger of that magnitude was the systematic, total destruction of the energy capacitor. The city had to be physically and spiritually purged of the accumulated unstable energy before the land would permit the cycle of human occupation to begin anew. The rebuilding of San Francisco was universally hailed as an astonishing victory of human resilience. But the extraordinary speed, the influx of global funding, and the political urgency of the reconstruction were not driven by simple civic pride. They were driven by the desperate, hidden mandate to re-establish the transference matrix and reopen the line of credit to the chthonic energy source. The political and financial descendants of the Pioneer Compact meticulously orchestrated the rebuilding to ensure the city maintains its essential occult geometric anomaly. The rebuilt financial district, updated with stronger steel and deeper foundations, follows the exact same aggressive, energy-channeling grid. The goal was never to truly repay the original debt. It was to transition into a new, far more dangerous perpetual debt cycle. The city today is built on a massive active and rapidly escalating perpetual debt cycle. The modern tech boom, the massive intangible theoretical wealth generated by Silicon Valley and centralized in San Francisco, is the second gold rush. This new invisible wealth, based on algorithms, digital equity, and pure data, is exponentially more volatile and non-material than the gold dust of the 1850s, and it is being aggressively funneled into the exact same energy focus array in the financial district. The city remains the spiritual capacitor, hoarding wealth that the physical land refuses to acknowledge as legitimate payment. My current, classified research, utilizing advanced deep borehole seismometers developed for geological stability analysis, confirms that the San Andreas Fault is once again emitting the rhythmic infrasound pulses, the same gong of judgment recorded by Kincaid's colleagues in the 1890s. But the frequency is different. It's faster, more chaotic, and far more urgent, correlating precisely with the hyper-accelerated accumulation of digital wealth, unstable IPOs, rapid market bubbles. The debt collector is not resting. It is monitoring the new, escalating digital debt, and it is losing patience. The most terrifying prospect is the shift in collateral for the next catastrophic payment. The debt of the 19th century was settled with the destruction of structure and paper records. The debt of the 21st century, tied to intangible, highly volatile digital wealth, may require a payment of human consciousness and global digital infrastructure. If the next debt comes due, the geological mechanism may not strike at the buildings. It may strike at the network's core, the city's technological nervous system, inducing a massive synchronized cognitive feedback loop through the fiber optic lines, causing a collective instantaneous breakdown of global reality and human sanity.
The Earth, the eternal creditor, is not interested in the stock market. It is interested only in energetic balance. And San Francisco, the hub of global innovation, sits precariously atop a massive, actively escalating unpaid loan, awaiting the final, technologically enhanced collection. The ultimate disaster will be the erasure of collective digital memory and the irreversible temporal confusion of its populace. Part 5. The Final Warning and the City's Vibration. The Pioneer Compact's ultimate, terrifying secret was this: they didn't just stumble upon an opportunity, they consciously activated a dormant planetary intelligence, a balance mechanism that operates outside the linear short-term laws of human commerce and functions solely on geological time and spiritual law. My final warning focuses on the city's constant, inescapable psychic vibration. San Francisco, even on a clear, calm day, possesses an underlying tension, an irrational, hypermanic energy that both long-term residents and new arrivals immediately sense. This isn't just culture or population density. It is the physical residual hum of the energy capacitor, continuously charging and discharging, struggling desperately to contain the unpayable spiritual debt. This constant vibration is the precursor to the next cascade. The indigenous prophecies warned that the only way to truly halt the debt collector and close the transference matrix was a ritual of return. To put the stolen gold, the energetic heart, back into the earth. Since the physical gold is now scattered across the globe, the debt must be paid in an equal, symbolic, and destructive currency. The current escalation of seismic activity, the constant low-grade tremors, and the rhythmic infrasound pulses are not random geological events. They are the debt collector's final ticking countdown.
The next major event will not be a simple reset. It will be a final catastrophic zeroing of the ledger that could sever the city from the digital world entirely and permanently destabilize the entire West Coast. The American dream built on the gold rush was a magnificent, tragic illusion, a technological castle built on spiritual quicksand and planetary debt. The 1906 earthquake was the brutal, necessary reminder that some loans are unpayable, and the lender is the planet itself. San Francisco remains a city of destiny, but that destiny is now defined by the inevitable collection of an overdue, catastrophic debt, waiting for the final manic energetic spike to trigger its total digital and physical demise. Keep an eye on the financial district skyscrapers, the massive vertical batteries. When the chaos starts, the fire and shaking will be secondary. The real horror will be the temporal echo, seeing the manic, gold-crazed faces of the 1850s miners running through the digital ruins of the 21st century, a final terrifying fusion of cause and effect. The city is a masterpiece of ambition, but it remains a monument to unstable borrowed power, and the earth is coming for its payment in full.